What is going on? Okay. Please hold, everybody. Let's see why we're not getting any video. There we go. What's happening, everybody? Welcome out. Cleveland Terry Show. Thursday. What is the date today? The 18th. The day after St. Patrick's Day. The day after my sister's birthday. She was born on St. Patrick's Day. So, I hope everybody's having a great day today. This is my last kind of chill day. This is the 19th. I don't know, guys. You know, when you get to a certain point, in all honesty, I no longer see dates as much. I just see like, okay, it's Thursday. How many meetings do I have today? Oh, I have, 25 meetings. Okay, great. How many site visits? One of the good things and the bad things. One of the good things and the bad things about Calendly, my meeting booking software, is that, well, there's you don't really have a say in your day. Like, your day is just your day. You wake up, I open up my calendar and I say, how much shit do I have today? And it'll tell you. It'll be honest. And some days it's 5 meetings. Some days it's 12 meetings. And you have to appreciate every single one of them. So today's not so bad, but tomorrow we have to prepare for 2 production parties. Let's see. Saturday we have an LED wall, LED floor, some lighting. We have to set it all up tomorrow. It just happens to be or fall on the, no lie, the hottest day of this week. I don't know what it is, what God's little joke is, but I am not sure that it's very funny that every Friday when I go to preload all my gear for the weekend, it's 5,000 degrees. Like, that's driving me nuts. Like, let's just make it easy. Rain during the week, be hot during the week. On the weekends, be cool. Can you be cool for me? That's all I'm really asking for. So I'm activating my chat here real quick. Not activating my chat. I see my chat. I'm activating the highlighter. Okay. So something went wrong. What went wrong? Make sure that's the right one. So that's my Friday. Today I'm here, which isn't the problem. I see, this is one of those stories where people say, we don't want to see you talk about this shit. You're talking about microwaves? We talking about microwaves? So, well, today's Thursday. I think it was Monday. Could have been Sunday night. No, it was Monday. Monday night. Everything's fine. I think I was picking up my daughter, whatever. Anyway, we're talking about food and all the stuff. And I'm like, well, we can have leftovers. I don't really feel like cooking, et cetera, et cetera. And it could have been Sunday. It could have been when I flew in, the day I flew in. So my wife says halfway through the day, it's probably about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Oh, by the way, something's wrong with the microwave. What do you mean? The buttons aren't working. Maybe I hit a button or something like that. Now, I'm going to tell you the story because I think it kind of pertains. Hold on one second. It always comes back to the same thing. So I go and do the general testing as we're supposed to do as husbands. And I don't know why I keep saying it's black. And I go do the general testing, not working. It's an LG handleless microwave, convection microwave, whatever. So start pressing buttons. Nothing's reacting. I then go online and I put in the little look, this model, this is what's happening. None of the buttons work. So they come back real quick with an answer. They're like, if your buttons aren't working, unplug it for 4 to 6 minutes and then plug it back in. If after you do that, it doesn't work, set up a repair tech to come out and see what's wrong. Like, there's no middle ground. There's no hit, start in the 30 seconds and hold that for 5 seconds. None of that. So I'm like, okay, and we might need to get it fixed. Now, I own a home, but I don't do the home warranty extended feature because it's bullshit. As great, as well-intentioned as you think that home warranty is going to be, it does not work for the majority of things. I will tell you that story too. Sorry, I'm here. My oldest daughter is here working from the office today. So it says, call for a repair tech or schedule a meeting. I go onto their website and it gives you all this information. Yeah, customer service and blah, blah, blah. Everything's great. I go, how much does this cost? Right? Click on the pricing. We have fixed pricing to save you time and energy and stress. Okay, cool. Any microwave over the counter, whatever, any microwave, no matter what. If it's a microwave, if it's these types of products like microwave and they might have even said TV or something like that, but let's just say microwave. It's a one price save all, $379. Okay. All right. That doesn't seem, it's bad, but it doesn't seem terrible per se. Then I looked up my model. And when I had originally bought that microwave, I don't even think it was ever this price. But the retail value of my microwave was like $589. But they want $379. Now, I said that was the retail version. My microwave is $329, which is what I think I paid, somewhere in the threes. So it would cost me more money or the same money to get it repaired or just buy a new one. So I bought a new one. Went to Best Buy. Then I go to Best Buy and I start talking to the girl. I explained the situation and she says, oh yeah, we know that happens all the time. Yeah, it's very common. She goes, but you could also buy that's because there's no review. If there was a review, you'd see it. I will provide a review. It's not too late, by the way, to do a Rain System 1 review. It's technically not too late to do any review. But I was taking my time with it. That's something that requires a lot more back end work as opposed to like my speaker reviews. I actually have I have like 4 videos that I've already shot that are just sitting on the camera waiting to be edited. But the System 1 takes more. You got overheads, you got fronts, you got pan shots, you got just general visuals that are different. So it's coming. So lady says, yeah, this is, that's very, very normal. So I said, okay, well, Because you could get a Best Buy membership, whatever, and then you get 2 years extended coverage or 3 years extended coverage. I was like, okay, well, how much does that cost? She said, I think it was somewhere around $150, something like that. And then, no, it was like $60. But you have to pay like, a deposit or a fee when you come in to get it serviced. So it's just cheaper, but that fee is still like $100. So now I'm like $150, $160, $329 microwave. And she says, oh, and you don't actually even get a new one. They just send it in for repair. If they can't fix it, then we just refund you we give your money back as a credit, the $329. So I'm like, so in reality, you're giving me like $160 credit. And that's assuming that the microwave breaks within the first, year of that extended warranty. What if it breaks in the second year? Now you get what I'm saying? Like I've paid for another year of service. So every time I pay for another year of service until it breaks, I may just break even. So, and this microwave is new. I bought this microwave when our initial microwave from the house we bought died. So it's only a year and a half old. I think it's actually like 1 year, 3 or 4 months, to be honest with you. So, all that shit is a scam. So I just said, screw it. No, I'll just buy it. I'll just buy it outright because, but it's all a scam. The home warranty companies, they're a scam. How do I know they're a scam? I will tell you 2 stories, 2 quick stories. And then you tell me if they are a scam or not. Our old house, we were there for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. The garbage disposal goes out. It's like stuck. It's just burning at both ends. I have home repair insurance. So I said, okay, great. I'll just call them up. It came out. This part was easy. Oh, select time and when and where. Cool, done. They were there like the next day. My microwave arrived today, by the way. They arrived the next day. Comes in. Hey there. Blah, blah, blah. Home warranty. Cool. I have this thing with my garbage disposal. It's like stuck. Okay. Comes in. Has a tool. It looks like it's a wrench, a socket wrench. And he puts it into my sink and does this. Hits the button. Works again. Hey, you got it to work. That's amazing. Yeah, I had to do some twisting. Okay, cool. I think $75 fee for coming out. He leaves. I think it was like 2 months later. Maybe 3. Same problem. I call the warranty company and say, hey, it's not working again. And he said, well, we'll send somebody out. I said, well, you just sent them out like 3 months ago. Can you just send them out? Do I have to pay the fee? Yeah, unfortunately, you always have to pay the fee. Okay, fine. He comes out, another $75. I swear to you, he comes out and he goes, hits the button. It works again. Wow. So, what's wrong with the disposal? You're doing a twist, like, and I'm paying you to do the twist. He says, yeah, these models, they have this problem. So you just have to go in there and you have to retwist them. Okay. At what point, since it's now failed me twice in the past 3 months, at what point do I get a new disposal? He said, oh, well, there would have to be like severe problems where you couldn't fix it. As long as we can fix it, they will never replace it. Okay. So what should I do in the meantime? Well, you can prevent this by not putting anything in the garbage disposal. I'm sorry. Don't put anything during the garbage in the garbage disposal. No. Just put only thing like ice. Like just put this. These are real words coming out of the human being's mouth. I promise you. None of this is me just extending the story. I tell facts and tell truth. That's what he said. Ice. Put ice down the garbage disposal. And I'm like, there's got to be other garbage disposals that don't. They can eat more than just ice. Yeah, well, there are, but they're not going to replace it. So after that day, I went online, went to Amazon, Googled all the, searched all the best ones. One came up. It was like $140. I bought it, came to me, I put it in myself. We lived at that house for another 8 or 9 years, I think. No, probably closer to 10 years. Never had a problem with it ever again. Okay. Second, last story to this. You guys are very, very kind. And I know you're very excited about anything, Rain System 1. But it has been out. We have talked about that multiple times in the show. Literally last show, we talked about it. Next time, the microwave that I replaced this microwave for that's now dead, that I'm about to replace this microwave with. Brand new appliances in this house. Normal microwave over the counter. Pull it up, keep pulling it. The handle would break every 6 months, like clockwork. And we tried to devise everything. Don't hold it here. Hold it here. Don't do this. Pull this here. When you do that, use a second hand. Slide that through. Move around. Do the rain dance. Like all the things we were doing to try to prevent this thing from breaking. But there was an inherent problem with this handle and this microwave. I went online. Everybody said the same thing. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. Every single one of my microwaves have broken. So when every time they would come by, every time they would say, well, this is wear and tear. I said, how is it wear and tear? You were just here 4 months ago. It can't be wear and tear. Well, that's what they're going to tell me to tell you. It's wear and tear. So, and the guy literally yeah, I know this happens to this microwave. I've seen it happen. It's either the logic board or it's the handle. Okay, well, can you just tell them that? So they can they won't. It's wear and tear. Yeah, definitely user error. So, those warranty plans, as appealing as you really want them to be, you want them to be good, but most of the time they don't work. There is a planned obsolescence, which is a fact. There's also, they just died, Mojax. They just died. There's planned obsolescence, and there's also, again, I don't know if you guys watched the Exiton video that I just put out a couple of days ago, but it's the same concept. Things are designed to be cheap now, right? Oh, this is great. This is a nice, cheap product that works. Yes, it does work. How long will it work? When will it just fail out of the blue? Just because you just pick it up and you look at it funny and it's I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? There's just no reliability to anything you purchase anymore. And that's the biggest problem with any of these situations. Oh, my microwave did Wi-Fi. I'm like, you couldn't tell me that you're breaking? Do that for me. AI my microwave into saying, hey, there's something wrong before it dies completely. Do this. Give me something. Give me something. I even tried to go to the app. That's how I tried to go to the hardware units software app to see if the software could diagnose it. You know what it couldn't do? Anything. It couldn't even connect to the microwave. The microwave's still on. Like, I unplug it, you plug it in, it turns on, makes the sound and everything. But then none of the buttons on the front work, so I can't even set my clock. Does anybody? I don't know if you guys walk around your house, but there's always like a reference point in your house. Okay, and like for me, my reference point is always the clock on the microwave. That's the one I look to anytime I'm trying to just figure out what time it is. My eyes just naturally go to that clock. Now it's been off. I have been struggling. What day is it? I feel like I've been in this room for 17 hours. Like, it's bad. It's bad. But that's my reference point. And without that clock, oh, does it suck? So Mojax, my wife was here all day because on that Sunday, I flew in from the Bay, and from the Bay event, I went straight to the office to shoot the video on the Exiton. So I hadn't even gotten home until 4, 5 o'clock. No, 6 or 7, because I had to go pick up my daughter afterwards from dance. So yeah, about 6 o'clock. She didn't mention anything until 2 or 3 hours. Like, we were going to use the microwave. She's like, oh yeah, hey, something's wrong with the microwave. I'm like, it was just you here today. And my daughter's like, I just used that microwave yesterday. Everything was fine. Yeah. It was working just fine. And all of a sudden, it just doesn't work anymore. So I don't know. I can't blame her. I just got to go, okay, and spend the money. Spending the money part starting to get on my nerves. Like, we got a new dog, and the dog likes to mess with things and screw things. I'm like, we just bought a new couch. See, all of these things that people are like, oh, Cleveland's a baller and blah, blah, blah. This ain't baller work. Like, I haven't replaced my couch for we moved into here in 2017. So it's been 9 years. I've gone through 3 different dogs in that time period. The couches are jacked up, and I'm putting it up. I didn't want to get this couch until my wife complained enough, and she does complain sometimes, where I'm just like, okay, fine. We're getting a couch. Let's go. And then we got the couch, and then we got a new dog. And I'm like, this was bad timing. Like, this is seriously bad timing. But we're always going to have new dogs, I guess. But can't you just have a nice thing for a little while? We never have time for nice things. You get what I'm saying? Like you don't want to buy a new car and then you're driving down the road and a rock hits your car and scratches it and dings it. That's terrible karmic pain. I don't want to do that. I want to have a nice thing for a little while. But the dogs are the dogs. Anyway, we had a sectional last year, and we had to train our dog to stay off, and it worked, and it's bliss now. Congratulations. That's impressive. But we do have 2 dogs, and one's an idiot. So there's always that. You got to pick and choose. You got to pick and choose what works for you. The dogs know how to do certain things. They don't know how to do other things. All right, let's see here. Let's try to get this search back up. Let's try this one more time. Okay, but to answer your question, activate. To answer your question, activate source. My social stream is breaking on me today. So sign in. Keep session. Okay. All right. Nothing's working. Okay. So we're not going to be highlighting chat today. So, the Rain System 1 review is coming out. To answer the question of how do I like it, I love the device. I love the hardware as a whole. It is a fantastic unit. By the way, this light's not working either. Something's not working in my office today. I love the device. I mean, I can say this without. There it is. I can say this without any, spoiling of my video. It's the best controller that they've ever made. Flat out, the best controller that they've ever made. So, if you're into that, you'll be good to go. Yes. Do I have issues with it? Are there some things I'd like to see, either better or I wish it had? Absolutely. Is it a deal breaker on any list? No, it is not. It is not. It's a fantastic device. I'm trying to find my blue. I don't want this thing to be moving around. Come on, HomeKit. Okay. Where's just my custom color? All right, that's going to have to work today. That'll work. So, Mojack said he put a 2 terabyte in his System 1 at a great expense. Absolutely. I keep considering it. I keep thinking about it. I might do it, but my only issue is I have one big issue, and that is I don't necessarily keep the System 1. I plan on putting it in my furniture. So the fact that it's in my furniture means that's a lot more moving around and getting stuff to work. And so you can't, obviously you're not going to remove the hard drive when you're done to ring syncing up, and people are like, just plug it in. Well, that's great if you have it out and it's just sitting on a desk, but mine stays in my will stay in my furniture. Right now it's fine. So I've been using SD cards. I might just get another SanDisk USB, thumb drive and use that. Because the one thing that I have noticed, and I don't know if it's software related or physical hardware related, it feels to me like I get more delay using even high speed. Like these are my 4K Sony old cards before I moved on to the pro grade cards. So these are my Sony, not Sony, but the SanDisk for my Sony A7 IV. And during the beta, when we're using beta software, it just felt like the SD cards lagged a little bit. And these are V90s. These are fast cards. Then I said, well, maybe I'll wait for a firmware update. And firmware update came. I thought it was better for a minute, but then I was still getting slight delays. And the last time I used it, which was last Saturday night, I don't feel like there was lagging. But anyway, I don't know if I attribute that to just the card reader itself, because I don't believe it's the card, or it just requires a dumb fast SD card, and this one in particular. And when I say lag, I don't mean like. It's an interesting thing when you load a song and it bottlenecks. Okay, so basically, your song's loaded and playing, right? But when you try to adjust the tempo, you get a little. It's like it's treating it like the way you pull streaming files. If that makes any sense. So anybody that uses Denon as opposed to like Serato streaming or even DJ streaming. When you load a song using engine software from a streaming service, it pulls the entire song down before you're able to play it. The entire song. So yes, Ernesto, no buffering. It pulls it all down. Bam. I feel like on the SD card it's doing something like that. Because obviously the song is playing, so we know it's more than just buffering. But when I go to hit the tempo or do any changes, it like I'm moving the fader, nothing's changing. Oh yeah, this is straight out of the engine desktop. So very interesting. But that's why again, see, this is why when people are like, "Oh, you haven't done the video yet." These are the reasons. I need to test more. I need to put a drive in. I need to, make sure everything is analyzed. I need to. I'm not talking to you. Nope. Why are you calling my phone directly? I want to make sure. I would hate to say something and people are like, well, all you had to do was this. You call yourself a YouTuber. That's so dumb. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to deal with that trash. I don't. This is supposed to be a safe place for me. This YouTube thing. But yeah, it's bad enough. People are dumb. You know how people are. They're so overly critical. I did the Exiton video. And obviously, guys, if you haven't watched the Exiton video, please do. There are some things that I will be doing in the future in order to speed up my production process, just because I just haven't had time. Haven't had the time to just sit. Like, I don't have 2-3 days to edit videos anymore. Like, I need to get in and get out. I just want to make sure that they look at least solid. They don't have to look like this all the time. They don't have to be Mojack's videos all the time. I need to run and gun. So you're going to see some of these kind of almost one takes where I'm just shooting the video and I just go back in the video and I just cut out, anything that was like egregiously bad. But in general, if it's fine, if I say something and it's slightly off, whatever, that's cool. That's cool. All right, Mojacks. Appreciate you, fam. So yeah, so I just shoot it. Hopefully I can just get it done. I just want to edit real quick, get it out. Anything that requires like multicam, all this stuff and, extra research and extra examples, those are going to take longer. So they're going to be a little slower, but they will come out. They will come out. We're doing an event for a high profile local car dealership and so I've had to put all my efforts into that one. That's this weekend. We have 2 different parties with LED walls, LED floor. It's actually a lighter weekend for us. I think there's only 5 events on Saturday night and 1 on Friday. And it feels like I'm doing 15 events. Like, it can be a lot sometimes. Mojack says, take those dancing tube guys to the car lot. We don't have so many of those anymore, actually. And this company, I can't say the name, but it's established. It's like one of the biggest car dealerships in, I would say, America. Like, it's that big. And yeah, they don't have those. They don't have those. Okay, so let's get through some questions. Biggie Small says, and I can't bring anything up. Maybe if I just pin it real quick, and then I can unpin it. Maybe that works. Biggie Small says, I can't do. Oh, so I'm going to be reading back comments more. I've seen this every so often from a couple people that are like, hey, you know what? I listen to this in my car. I listen to this in the office. Can you read back what the people are saying instead of just responding to it? Because it gets a little confusing. So I sometimes I forget. I'm going to make it a point though. Biggie Smalls 4459 says, I can't do silent Q on my Rain 1 MK2 while using DJ. Any help? Silent Q, my guess is it. So the Rain 1 defaults to sensor. Okay. But you have to go into the settings, and I'm not trying to make you seem dumb or feel dumb. I'm just telling you what, just in case you didn't know. So you have to go into the settings and then switch the silent Q or the sensor to the silent Q. Once I did that, DJ saw it just fine. They saw it just fine. So, there are no, at least from my memory, there are no feature sets that you need to change in DJ. I don't believe. I think the silent Q is just a silent Q. Yeah, I think so. So let's see if if I unpin this message now, it goes off, and then you guys can see it while you're driving or watching. I don't know. Anyway, my social stream's not working, so that's just it. Maybe it requires an update. Sometimes it does. Okay. Next question. Let's see. Music fan says we're talking about the System 1. I also don't know if I want to be looking down at the screen in that position all night. That's a thing. Okay, so I will discuss that in the video too. That is one of my talking points. I have not experienced that yet, but that is in the back of my mind. If I keep doing this, at what point over the course of, weeks, months, years, am I suffering from like severe neck pain or my back or something's off alignment? One of the tricks I do, my tables are generally higher up, so I don't tend to have to look down as much as some people. I prefer my decks to be higher. On that Pro X booth, if I'm not using my furniture, I find that is like the perfect height for it. But I would be lying if I said I didn't think about that. I would be absolutely lying. Now, I don't know how much every DJ is different. Okay. But I've never spent a lot of time staring at my deck. Wait a minute. I did say deck, YouTube. I don't spend a lot of time like this, right? Because that's weird. I find my song. Now I'm looking up, and anything I'm doing is pretty much like this angle, like I'm kind of looking at the deck, but I'm also looking at the people. I'm just kind of going back and forth, but I'm not like, like Serato face. Like I'm not doing that. So I find myself not looking at the screen as much, and maybe that'll be for the better. Now, here's the thing. My issue may not be somebody else's issue. Like I know that there are people that just love all-in-ones and they just use them. I'm always on the fence with all-in-ones. Like I like what they do. I like or being a thumb drive person. Like I respect what it is that means. I just have to bring a thumb drive to a club or even to my hardware. I can just plug it in. Like that's fantastic. Excuse me. That's fantastic. But I would be lying to you. I would be lying to you if I said to you, but it doesn't slow me down. That's a lie. It absolutely slows me down. Not to a point where I can't do the job, but I'm noticeably slower in my mixes and my pulling stuff up. And Also, a thing that I do, and everybody's different. Okay, everybody's different for the way they DJ. But one of the things that I do is, I have my crates, and my crates are, they're organized as far as like my adult crate, my kids one. My kids one might be broken out, and one might say, I actually have a kids crate called Hype Shit. So I had some coffee or something. I actually have, it's called Hype Shit. Now they don't see it, it's on my computer, but it's called Hype Shit. And that's all the stuff that like, I know a 13 to 16-year-old is going to scream for, so all that stuff is in there. But then I have a kids pop, and I have a kids old, music, old Hype Shit music. Right. So those are all nested in a folder hierarchy. I have my adult crate, but then I have an EDM crate. I have some special crates. I got Latin crates. I got all those. What I'm trying to say is, I find myself doing a lot more scrolling than I've ever done. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying I'm doing a lot of scrolling. The scrolling part to me is more exhausting than just looking or doing a search or whatnot. And it led me to believe, just like when I'm using CDJs, when I'm using any type of all-in-one, I have to do a better job of like making sure that the folders that are on my computer are ones I want to go to. I don't truly believe you can be a 40 crate person and use like an all-in-one or even record box or Denon. For me, I can't. I'm going to have to shrink my folders down to like 8 of them, 8 to 10, just because it just feels overwhelming. Again, and Abel Santana says that you have to do a lot of prep if you are strictly open format, and you will find yourself scrolling a lot. Yeah, I'm open format. These parties I'm doing are pure open format. And like when I saw all the released performances, I saw the same people for like 4 days straight, operating either at DJ City Beat Source or at NAMM, all of these things. I saw them. So I was able to see them do their performances multiple times in some respects. It was clear to me that they had a set routine, which is fine. You should want to do a set routine if you're performing in front of, hundreds and not thousands of people. But it's never an issue when you're just clicking once to take you down. That's never an issue. But for me, being the open format DJ I am, being the way I DJ, it can get in the way. So I have found myself, which I always intended to do anyway, I will use my computer sometimes. Sometimes I will use the online. The one of my favorite things about using the System 1 is just how fast I can get to playing music. I took the System 1 up to the Bay this weekend, and I was running the LED wall. I had a whole other person doing DJing, and I said, hey, I'm bringing the System 1 up. Are you cool with that? He's like, that's fine. Like, you're on 4.0? He's like, yeah. Okay, good. But I didn't bring my DJ computer when I was setting up, because I set up not only the LED wall, but we set up the DJ and the VJ areas. All I did was put the System 1 up, plug the XLRs in, plug power in, turn it on, and then I could start doing a sound test. I never had to put my computer and a stand or any of that stuff on there. That's fantastic. I've run into issues before where a computer was having problems and I needed to restart it, or I needed to restart Serato or DJ or whatnot. I don't have to worry about that with the System 1. I can go back and forth. I don't think it's one or the other. I know people are mad. The first people that were mad were the people when all the videos came out, all the advertising, and it was like, why are people talking so much about not having to bring their computer? Is it so hard to bring your computer? Oh my God, heaven forbid I have to bring this 3-pound piece of blah. Okay. So that was when it first came out. Then Serato gets released, and then we got all the all-in-one people. Why would you buy this if you're just going to use Serato anyway? If you're just going to use DJ, if you're just going to use virtual DJ, why would you do that? That's so dumb to me. Okay. Well, it can be dumb to you. Jamie the Great in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Yeah, it could be crap to you, but there's a lot of people that are on the fence. You know, like the internet is a bunch of screamers on this side and screamers on this side, you know, but the reality is the majority of people sit here. Okay. The way I use hardware and software, I sit here. All right. I don't really care if it does one or two things that like, I don't necessarily like if it does 98 things that I do. We are all still waiting for algorithm DJ compatibility. They're too busy updating for mixers, V5s. I'm like, are people buying more V5s than System 1s? I don't know. No, I don't know. So I still have to wait for DJ, which means that I have been using Serato DJ Pro more. I've been in it all the time. And the one thing Engine OS needs is a crate search. 100%. They need a crate search. And I think there's some redundancy. Like I said, I'm going to talk about this all in my video, but there is a little redundancy. Like the fact that we have, these not mirrored, but, symmetrical jog sides where you have your 3 playlists, right? You can do up to 3 playlists. And I'm sitting here like, well, you got these buttons on the other side. It would have been better if I could have 6 playlists. I don't need to have a global menu button on the side when I got a menu button up top. I don't need the record button on the side when that's not something I'm using all the time. Buttons should be there if you are going to use them. Okay? Like, perfect example. Pioneer DJ S11. Okay? Best mixer, in my opinion, on the planet. With a couple of just dumb design ideas. First off, you can't rearrange the screen on the S11. What you get is what you get. And for the most part, it's fine. Except for the fact that sync is on the main page that you could never change over. Now, if people don't use sync, if somebody doesn't use sync, then why have that? What I'm saying is the silent Q button was 3 pages down, which meant that I stopped using silent Q on that mixer when I DJ, unless it's like a very specific thing, because buttons should be the things you use all the time, not one-offs. There should never be a button that you use on occasion. There should never be a button that you press one time to do something during your session. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze for one moment. So where can I go since my Stream Deck is not working? Hold on. Okay. Better. So yeah, the buttons that we use need to be buttons that we use all the time. Okay. If you don't use the button all the time, you really have to question whether or not it should be as a primary on your deck. That's it. And again, everybody can map. I'm not saying you can't map. I mean, I think Mojax maps, he used to map his silent Q button to Q.8 on both sides. which is fine. That's fine. But if you're going to have buttons, if you're going to have something that's prominent, it should be something that the plan is that we use all the time. I don't need a record button. I don't need a quantize button. I don't need a hardware button to be there all the time. You get what I'm saying? All the time? All the time for the record button? I can legitimately slide the panel down and hit record. It's right there. So those are those things. And I know they probably thought about it. They're like, is this going to confuse people if we have presets here and then we have presets over there on the side? And I'm like, yeah, it can confuse you, but it's your device. So you should be fine. Anyway, Mixmaster G in the building. What's going on, fam? By the way, video with the exact problem and fix is uploaded as we speak. Have we hit on Alpha Theta yet? No, we have not, Mixmaster. What are we hitting on? By the way, Wayne DJ Island Boy, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. By the way, in California, specifically Southern California, it's 90 degrees. I'm sorry, 94 degrees. It's hot as hell. So I don't always check my DJ. I don't check everything in the mornings on these days because I'm running around with the kid and the new dog and all that stuff. But like, I try not to get too involved with like real stuff before the show. So I did not know that. Record box 7.2.12 breaks USB export. That's wild. Yeah, I haven't even checked my emails. Hold on. Thoughts on slab. Okay, I can make that easy. Jamie DeGreat says thoughts on slab. Okay. My thoughts are, I love that little controller. I love that controller. That Alpha Theta is sending me emails to send it back. And I don't want to. That's how much I love this controller. Does it do anything and everything? I mean, look, the controller is not the issue with Serato Studio. It's not the controller. It is tell Zemi to wait. That's hilarious. No, they just have much better people now working in the recovery, I call it, the recovery department for all their equipment. I love that controller. And it's not just, I mean, people are always like, well, why do you love the controller? It's first off, it's the perfect size. You know, it fits in pretty much every bag that I have. It's super lightweight. The buttons are well thought out. Even having the little screen, people complain about, we need a bigger screen. We need this. And like, okay, yeah, would it be nice to have a bigger screen? But then you're also introducing, more adjustments to the actual layout. And once you've used it a couple of times, you know where everything is. Okay. The slab, I would say, is not necessarily for people who are just doing blend remixes. Okay. Or I just need a quick beat behind this thing. I need to turn this 70s song into an electronic song. So I just put a backbeat on, which is, by the way, the dumbest thing in my mind. Like if you're gonna do a remix, if you're gonna take, Satisfaction, Rolling Stones, not like the other one. If you're gonna take that, don't just put that standard 4 on the floor kick drum in, because there was some dude that was doing that for all of his edits, and it sounded like trash, and then every song sounded exactly the same. So if you're gonna do that, yeah, take it in, put a beat that matches the song, that matches the grace, and then while you're in there, beef it up. Reinfuse that bass line if you can. there's so many options, and now with stems and the abilities that you can do, like these productions should be so much better. So please, so back to what I'm saying. So Serato Studio is really good for those types of things and just pulling it in. You know, they have their auto beats that you can just auto grid onto the thing and keep changing however you want. And they're for the most part pretty good, actually. But the slab to me, if you're not using it to DJ, which I don't personally use it, you know, while I'm DJing, but the slab to me is more of a production unit. I'm making music, you know, I'm actually doing beats. Like that's a thing. And Serato Studio suffers the same problem, but worse than Ableton does when people first open up Ableton, you know, and you're on the session view, not the arrangement view. Now you're going old school like MPCs, where, you know, you have a beat here, you have a key here, you got guitar here, and then you record those MIDI notes, and then you go to the next thing, and then you maybe copy and paste, and maybe you add a variation of that guitar here, maybe a drum fill here, and you keep going down and down and down. So when you're set to perform it or record it, you don't actually have a song yet, because you have to manually do all that stuff. Yeah, you can say, because you know, who knows if you're going to keep, I'm going to keep this on for 4 bars. Now I'm going to do this for 2 bars. It's a lot. Okay. That's old school, right? The MPC style, 2000 XL. Most people, when they're making music, do it in song view. I guess because you're making a song. If you're just making a beat, session view is fine. What I'm ultimately saying is Serato Studio operates in session view. So you make that beat, then you're basically dragging the containers for intro, middle, bridge, outro. You're dragging those to the song view. But you can do minor editing in the song view, and that's only like, you know, cutting files, truncating audio. But you can't go in there. You can't go in there and then just make an edit to one container. Because if that container has duplicated and you make that change to that first one or that second one, it's going to affect all of them, because that container is just an instance of that beat. What I suggested was, you know, like once you pull that into song view, if I need to change the MIDI note, I should be able to. It should basically make its own instance of that. But we're not there yet. So the song view part is the biggest issue. But it's real easy to drag in an acapella or drag in a song and make it an acapella, dragging another beat over the auto key change without you having to do anything. Like these are godsends, like godsends, and it makes my speed so much faster. But if I'm trying to make a full-on song and I'm just trying to be inspired, I don't know. I mean, I can still do it. I made songs on MPC forever, so I know I could do it. The question is, do I want to do it? I'd rather be making music in song view, so you can feel that progression as you go. It's just different when you're just duplicating layers or copying one down and then add. It's the same, but it's different. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody that hasn't produced. It's just different. Your flow is different. But if I'm just brainstorming, session view is fantastic. You know, puts everything on a loop, and I can just keep dragging and dropping and just changing over. I don't like the key to that. I don't like the song to that. I don't like the bass I use for that. Just drag a new bass on. It's just still looping and continuing. So that part is fantastic. I'm trying to see. Okay, let's just check emails real quick. Since I heard that they did pull it just now from somebody out there. Okay. Hey, look. So you haven't gone to any of my emails. I got an email from Exiton. Hold on. Let's see. What does it say? We recently came across your review of the Exiton S1503. Thank you for taking the time to create such a detailed and balanced evaluation. We truly appreciate your honest and professional feedback. We wanted to share that we're currently developing a new 3-way version of the S1503, and we believe your testing style would be great for evaluating the upcoming model. If you're interested, they're going to send me gear. Okay. I'm not mad at that. Yeah. So we'll see if that 3-way improves the sound that I was having the issue with. What I do like about this email is, first off, they didn't say anything about like, oh, you said knockoff, don't say that, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't say also, yeah, the speakers do that. But if you just change the EQ and you do this and you do that, you get what I'm saying? Like there's always something, but they were just like, no, this is your review. And maybe we know that we have these issues. Maybe we know. You get what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate that. And I don't have an NDA, so whatever I read there doesn't matter. No subject. Okay. So I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I think they're solid. So I don't do a lot of and this is for the better, okay? For me, I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos. I don't watch a lot of other influencer YouTube videos, especially if I have yet to do my review. So even with I did watch the System 1 from Mojax. You might have been the only one I watched. But anytime there's something new that's come out or the Exitons or whatever, I knew that there was because I've seen the pictures pop up, in YouTube, my algorithm's kicking in. And I've seen people that I knew were doing these videos, but I did not listen to any of those videos at all because I don't want to be biased. So I think that they're solid. They're solid. And the subs, I'm serious. They could have a market on their hands just selling those subs alone. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate that. Yeah. So Jamie DeGreat says, I only watch you, P. Dot and Mojax, and sometimes Nick. And I think those are great reviewers, especially that you one. And sometimes Nick, and I think that's always the funny thing about certain people like Nick. Nick. Sometimes Nick can be a little overly passionate. And if Nick doesn't like something, he doesn't like something. Like that's facts. And yeah, Jamie says, you guys are in the field with me. Yeah, we know, we see, we know, we share experiences. Does EQing, says One Fresh DJ, make the Exiton sound better for those harsh highs? You can recover a lot of the detail in them, but there's going to be certain things that it's just never going to be, exactly the way you want it. It's going to be doable, just because I don't feel that in general, the sound, okay. Cause like RCF speakers run uber hot. Okay. Their frequencies are like through the roof, but you can EQ those out. And once you EQ them out, they do sound better. But then there are certain other speakers that no matter what you do, you can only just get them serviceable. They'll never be great. As a matter of fact, Mackie has a couple of little speakers that we've gotten from them. And I'm like, no matter what you do, they're never going to sound really good. Not naming names, but I prefer reviewers that are independent. Mo Jackson, Phil Morris are my go-to, says Mixmaster G. I completely understand that, I mean, I'm independent too. Damn, dude. It's all good. It's all good. If you did, even if you did or you didn't, like, I'm not here to judge how people consume media. There are videos that, like, I will go to. I mean, okay. So perfect example. Like, I know Mojax isn't independent. He does work for DJ City and Beat Source. Should have lost my train of thought. Anyway, I guess it wasn't important. I do love P Dot's view from a club perspective. I really do love that. Because he sees things, and I mean, he sees things differently because he's like true club guy. And I do appreciate that. All my videos come from a mobile perspective always, which is why I think that, they can add value to a lot of people. And which is why I think that a lot of, my issues with whatever hardware, and it could be the System 1, because I'm going to have some complaints. I'm also going to have a lot of praise. I think that, my complaints are things that mobile guys will see, they'll see it right off. So everybody's different. And I think that's why there's a need for all of it. Most of it. There's some people that are, a little too salesman-y, a little too salesman-y. I didn't watch a single Exiton speaker review at all. But apparently there are a lot of influencers just glazing Exiton or just shitting on them completely, just shitting on them. I've never understood shitting on a company. I've never understood that. You don't like them, but just shit on a company just seems just aggressive. Just aggressive. Like, you don't like them. Okay, cool. They're not for you. There are levels to any type of hardware out there. Me saying, oh, well, I would never use this or that. There's a dude out there right now that is literally install update. We're going to update this Stream Deck update. There's literally a guy out there right now that's like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever used. Okay. So who am I to tell people that what they're using is trash? I can only speak for me. So when people go on there and go, you can never do this and you can never do that. No, because there are people that can. And there are budgets to everything. I'm not bringing, my JBL Eon 515s to a 300 person, $3 million party. I'm just not doing it. I'm going to bring some high end shit. And that's just the difference. It's just a difference. If I own a Honda or I own a Range Rover, the cars still work the same. I go in, I put my foot on the gas, I put my foot on the brake, I get to wherever I'm trying to get to, and then I go back. The Eon 515 XTs are awesome. They're my favorite Eons ever made. My favorite to this day. The Eon 515 XTs. If you're ever in the market or somebody's like, hey, I only have these speakers that you're going to need to use, and they're like, oh, I have JBL Eons. The first question should be, which ones? Because the Eons are not made the same. Not made the same. The newer the Eons get, the crappier they sound. I kid you not. I mean, but there was a window. There was a window of time where the Eon went Eon, the 500 series. So the 515 came out first. It was just okay. Then the XT came out, and that was like the perfect small powered speaker. So when like the 615 came out, I was excited. Like, this is going to be great. I bought that 615. I was so disappointed. You know, normally when you buy a product, like a newer gen product, so let's say you do have the regular 515, and then you have the XT, and then you have the 615. In my mind, that 615 non-XT version should be better than the 515 XT version. Like, that's the bar that they're trying to improve upon, right? And then if they come out with the 615 XT, that one should sound even better. But it didn't. It went down. It went backwards. The 615 was trash. The 715 was trash. Like, to this day, nothing competes with the 515 XT. Now, design-wise, it's old looking, but it sounded the best, had the best frequency response, the best low end, mids, and highs. And it didn't shut down when you were trying to push it to hell. The 515 XT, in my opinion, became the PRX 815s. Or the 715s, whatever. The PRX version. So what they did was they took the JBL the XT, got rid of XT, made the 615 sound like the regular 515, and then it came out with the PRX, and they made that from the XT. I don't call stuff trash unless it's trash. We're talking about two different things, though. The show that I'm on right here, this is no holds barred. I just say what I say. Okay? That's what makes it a live podcast. That's what makes it enjoyable for people to be here. But if I'm doing a review, a searchable review where people are going specifically to see or read a product, I'm going to be much more constructive, because that lasts forever. That thing where I just called the Eon 515 regular trash, which they were, but that piece, it's in the middle of a podcast, a middle of a 2-hour podcast. That's not getting anywhere. And even if it did, even they would be like, yeah, you're right. It is trash. They can watch my show back again. They're not searching for my show, Jay Davis. It's different. It's different. And again, I don't say anything that I don't mean, okay? The Eon 515s were trash. It is a known thing throughout the industry. It is a known thing. They can hey, JBL, your old ass 4-generation old Eon 515s are trash. Your XT is the best speaker you ever made. Clip it. This is me not caring. You know what I mean? This is me not caring. And like I said, it is what it is. But I just don't want to glaze people either. So anyway, all right, let's see here. Somebody had said something, and since I can't highlight things anymore, I don't know about the new versions, but my teenagers haven't been able to kill the Exitons, though I was slick not letting them use my RCF, LD, EAW, JBL rigs, and the Exiton is killing all of a sudden. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it caught me off guard how good they sounded. Do you know how many times? Oh, the 900s are The 900s is a whole different animal. The 900s are, the 900 subs are like voodoo because they're not even that heavy and they're small. We have to turn them down. We've never run them full power, ever. We have never run them full power. That's a JBL 900 series. That is their best series. Specifically, their best series if you use SRX. I'm convinced that everything else, it's not the same. The quality is not the same. But if anybody's like, hey, I'm thinking about getting JBL, I say, cool, make sure it's SRX. But what about the PR? Make sure it's SRX. Honestly, I will tell anybody that. That's the only one that I trust is the SRX series. Okay. Jamie the Great says, I will die on the hill that the Rain 57 with the Rain box is the best battle mixer. You can die on that hill, man, but there are going to be several dead people next to you who've said the same thing. You don't remember the buttons? You don't remember the cue points? Now, look, I'm not talking about the fader. Fader was fire, okay? It was the best part of that thing. But build quality was not its strong suit. Those cue points were a nice... If I have to do this to activate the button, I'm pressing in, and now I'm jiggling. There's a problem. There's a problem. But I get it. Speakers come down to preference. I've seen so many people shit on QSC speakers, and I'm like, they don't sound bad at all. They don't sound bad at all, and their subs sound better than most. In all honesty, their subs sound better than most. Their tops, just okay. They're just okay. But sound is subjective, 100%. Sometimes I also think there's a difference between sound being objective or subjective and sound being bad. Because I know people use that thing a lot. Hey, everybody hears it differently. And I agree. People do hear it differently. But it's like if I'm listening to a song and somebody's off pitch by a step, it doesn't matter how good they are. It's still off, and some speakers can just sound bad. There's I've had a couple and I said I can't use these. RCF, hey, everybody's got to have their light to shine in, but I don't love RCF tops. We have a couple of them. They're good. They're good tops. Okay. But whatever their default tuning is, I hate them out of the box. I hate them out of the box. But once you tweak them, you can get them to where you need them to be. There are certain speakers that are just tuned well. Which ones are tuned well? The JBL SRX 815s and 915s. Like if you pair those with their 828s, which is the dual cap, or even their 818 sub, they just sound really good because they're all tuned perfectly to play together. LD does that where they're tuned. They've gone in and there's a color to them. With speakers, I don't have a problem. Technically speaking, I don't have a problem with any hardware that has color in it. Okay. But Cleveland, I don't see color. See, that was a jab. See, I just did a jab right there. I just did. Okay. I could have been subtle and just kept moving, but I made it apparent what I was attempting to do. Color can be good. Okay. I keep seeing pop up nowadays. What do you think is better? The System 1 or the S11 or the Rev 7? Which sound is better? And people come out and they're just like, oh man, well, the rain is proven science to be the best. And I'm like, okay, can we stop this? Rain has really good stuff, and Rain's sound is good. But we need to stop this whole, it sounds better. It doesn't sound better. It sounds different. Different doesn't mean better. It just means different. So in my mind, it's been known that any alpha theta product that comes out in general is going to be very transparent. Flat sound. But Rain's stuff is not flat. Rain has a color to it. And it's a good color, not a bad color, but it's just a difference in like ideas, you know? Alpha Theta is like, here's our product. It's completely transparent. You add all the color and flavor you want for your room. Rain's like, hey, this pretty much works everywhere, but we're going to have our signature sound. I think that's probably the thing about the Exitons. Like they don't have the sound is just, it's their tops. I don't know how to say this without they're like devoid of sound, if that makes any sense. Where other companies might, like RCF, might really dig into that whole super sterile, super hot default. The Exitons are like devoid of any personality whatsoever. They're not flat, but they don't sound transparent. They sound muffled, but then they sound clear. I think I hear distortion, but that could, you get what I'm saying? There's so much. Okay. What if I see a DJ with some Harbingers? Ernesto asks. Well, I've used Harbingers. And Keith said if crowd is jamming out with Harbingers, let them rock. I used Harbingers at a 250 person party at Staples Center, crypto, and they had it was a mitzvah. Already at Staples Center, so you know it's going to be weird. But they had the outdoor area. They bring the people in, then they do a tour, like during cocktail. Then they come in and for like 2 hours, they're supposed to eat, they're supposed to dance, they're supposed to do all this stuff. Then after the 2 hours, everybody goes and watches the game. Like that's the package, which is very cool. Not cool for us, but very cool in general. So I get there. I'd already known that we were going to be, outdoors on the patio. So I didn't bring my big stuff. Like I think I brought the 515 XTs and the subs, put everything on the cart, started dragging it in, get to the top. I've gone through security. I've gone through all the places, right? Elevator, all the stuff, get to the top, drag them out. First off, there's a pipe and drape splitting the room up. And on the other side of the pipe and drape, there's like a presentation going on. And apparently they had the room until a certain amount of time. And then after that, then they leave and then the other crew comes through. I get all my system up to the top, start to set it up quietly. Guy comes over and says, hey man, you can't use your speakers here. We have a sound ordinance. We're outside. You can't use them. Oh, well, nobody mentioned it to me with the 6 checkpoints that I passed through. Yeah, we have to use ours. Okay, well, what are you using? And I look over and I see some speakers. They're about the same size as my Eons. I'm like, well, my Eons are the same. Okay, I'm sure they're fine. Literally, they look like my Eon 515 XTs. But I'm sure they're fine. I didn't have subs, but I've rocked my XTs without subs before. Let me make it work. And then take all my stuff back down to my SUV, reload it, go back up. I plug it in. After the other thing was happening, I plug it in. I do my sound test. And it's some of the worst sound I've ever heard come out of a speaker. And I'm like, I think your speaker's blown. I think we need to replace this. No, it's not blown. That's how they sound. This is the sound profile you're comfortable with. Shitty. This is what we're doing tonight. Well, this is all we have, sir. And you can't use yours. So we tried to get to that opening dance set. The speakers were so bad, the microphone would distort them. So we had to bring the levels down to where we're like having a standard conversation, just talking, and we're trying to, rock these 250 people. Needless to say, they did not react the entire night to what it was that I was doing because they could barely hear it. Because every time we turned it up, it would distort. The microphones distort it. So, Harbinger, what model were they? They were shitty. They were the shitty model. I think it was like SHIT. Hold on. I hear my daughter trying to use the microwave right now. Hold on 1 minute. She's gonna flip out in a minute. I guess my wife did not tell her that. I am really excited about moving forward with our party. Yeah, I'm excited too. It should be a really good party. Just got a couple more questions before I sign the contract. So if you don't mind, let me just get out my questions here. One, what kind of lighting do you use? Specifically, do you use Chauvet? Yeah, I have a whole bunch of Chauvet lights, but I have a lot of other ones. There's a lot of good companies out there. Okay. Do you use RCF speakers? No, I use JBL and QSC, depending on the size of your party, but they're all good speakers. Last question, the most important question I have. Do you mix in key? Do I mix in key? Well, I mean, I've been DJing. I was at a party once and the DJ played a transition that was completely out of key. I could not unhear it, ruined my whole night. Can I see your Serato mixed in key playlist, please? Hey man, like I said, different rules on my show. And I'm not, okay. This might be hypocrisy. But I think that there's a difference. I think there's a difference between me saying a product's shitty because my favorite product is either better or I'm biased to my favorite product. If I say something shitty because of, that's a problem for me. You understand what I'm saying? But if I use a product and it's shitty, I'm going to say the product is shitty because I have like firsthand knowledge but there's a difference to me. And this could be semantics, but there's an absolute difference to me to where somebody's just saying something sucks and they're being extreme to make their other product look better. You get that? That's what it is. That's what it is. I just talked myself into the answer. Like, I'm not going to shit on another product to make the other product look better. If I'm shitting on a product, it's because it's absolutely shitty. And there's the difference. Okay. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. The Neo. Okay, what are we doing here? Let's see here. Let me go back up. I like Carlo a lot. He's a really good guy. And I always make fun of him because I'm like, yeah, man, what you gonna do? What clickbait title do you have this time? Because he plays the game, and more power to him. I respect that. But he plays the game, and it works for him. Like his numbers are through the roof. I don't know, man. It's hard. Okay. Let's see. All right. RCF definitely in your face. RCF made my nose bleed when I first heard them. And this isn't RCF's fault. I mean, it is their fault, but the idea of RCF was made by its fans and less about them. So when I first heard them, I was at Harvest of Sound in Boston, like the second year of that show. And they had lots of speakers. That's actually where I first heard the Maui G2s, 44 G2s. The first place I ever heard them. Before everybody was bragging about how great they are. So they played through all these speakers, and they were trying to be as scientific as possible, and they were doing sine wave and making sure the frequencies were exactly the same no matter what. And they put those RCFs on, and people were like, yeah. I'm sitting there like, you guys like this sound? This does not sound appealing to my ears. Like, I'm already getting ear fatigue. And people are like, oh, God, absolutely. RCF's the winner. They're the best sounding. And I'm like, I don't agree. Now, I'm not saying you can't EQ them. I'm saying the out of the box, what you're hearing, what you describe as good is not good in my ears. Subjective. But also not subjective, because scientifically, if your speakers during a party without proper EQing cause ear fatigue, that's going to affect your party. So it's not just an objective thing. It is a scientific thing. Like, hey, even if you think they're so clear, they're too clear for your guests and you're going to burn them out. So drop that frequency off the top so they keep dancing. People don't want sterile. They want warm. I'm sure there's some crazy people that want sterile, but I'm just saying as a whole, they want warm. Always want warm. Always go. That's why like, I think the LDs work so well. Some people, like when I compare them to the EVs, they sound almost muffled, but that's also warmth, and people flock to warmth. There's a reason that people love analog stuff versus digital. Warmth, distortion, distortion, but in a good way. Oh, this is interesting. So Showcase says, back in the day, because I don't have any real history of them besides they're Italian. People love to say that. Back in the day, RCF was known for the woofers. And today their subs are great, but their top ends are harsh, a little too harsh. So this reminds me of the same problem with Bass Boss. Bass Boss subs are phenomenal. Okay? Like some of the best out there, right? Like the fact that they can make a 12 sound like a 15 and a 15 sound like an 18, like there's nothing better out there. Like they really are, but they're expensive. They're super expensive. And then they try to sell them as combos. And I cannot stand the way their highs sound. I think their highs are even more harsh than RCF. You got to EQ the hell out of them. And not very attractive speakers. Okay, let's just call it what it is. I get it. They're trying to come up with a different design and a different style. Like, I understand. But those tops, not you get what you pay for. But those are the most expensive things, B-boy. So that logic is bizarre. You know what I mean? Like, because you do get what you pay for, but like, if I pay as much as I should for RCF and for the bass boss, I expect them to sound like perfect. But they don't. They still require tweaking. It is what it is. It is what it is. PV. Oh yeah, it's PV, man. Come on. I hate the fact that every summer, this room, because a lot of this stuff runs continuously, because I hate turning it off. But this room, so hot. Fans running, I'm still hot. Drinking water, just trying to keep cool. Yeah, the throw on the throw is on some of those RCFs, the throw is weird. Yamaha is underrated for their speakers. Absolutely. I agree. That I had used RCS system. Don't ask me which one. But I was doing an event in Seattle. And it was very interesting, the throw for RCF. Because to me, which is why I never liked, this is the same reason that I never liked the Evolve 50s. Okay? The Evolve 50s and the RCF both suffer from the same thing. It feels like optimum placement is far away. Like the Evolve 50s, the optimum placement where you've hit like that perfect bass point is like let's say, for instance, let's say you had your speakers butted up to the dance floor and it was like a, 20 by 20 dance floor, right? The bass doesn't become optimal until, I want to say, almost the edge of the dance floor. So when I got to my party in Colorado, no, this was the one in Montana, for the wedding, and I hired the company to do it, the column arrays, the EV50s were totally far back, and I couldn't understand why. I'm like, why are they so far back? But I got it. It's because the throw is far, and that's the only way to make them optimized for the actual dance floor. They fixed that with the EV70s and 90s. They fixed that. Like now, the optimal sound is literally like 8 feet in front of that sub. Like you hear that bass throughout. Like it actually does what it's supposed to do. The fall off is at the end of the dance floor, not in the beginning, in the middle. RCF does something similar, at least for the speakers that I was using, where I was in this room. It wasn't a very big room, but I'm standing on the dance floor and I'm like, where's the bass? Like they're pumping, but where's the bass? I hear the tops, but where's the bass? Like this bass should be so much louder. And he's like, no, this is how they sound. Man, when I tell you, I went outside, I was just kind of walking around the room, then I went outside because the cocktail room was in the other room and I wanted to put the cocktail speaker out there. And I walk into that room, the bass is deafening. Deafening. I don't know how. But that bass traveled and bounced and came back. By the time it came back, the loud part of it was in a whole different room. It was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. The weirdest thing. But I think ultimately what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of good companies out there. And there's a lot of bad companies. But like all of them are going to sound, for the most part, good enough. And if you know your speakers, if you know what it is that you're using, if you feeding them through a mixer, there's a lot of adjustments that can be made to make it work. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now, but there are some speakers that are just unrecoverable. You know, I'm glad that Exiton exists. I really am, because in my opinion, we need an industry shakeup. Gee, Kenny in the house, what's going on, fam? We need an industry shakeup. I think that in general, the prices keep going up. Look, inflation, I get it. Understandable. These things are going up. But China or any of these overseas companies has done a number on what we consider value now. We're still not there with controllers, computers, but like if I saw a knockoff Rev 7, on Temu or on Alibaba, I absolutely would not buy it. I don't trust it. So manufacturers are safe in that respect, but there's certain things that lighting has shown us. We don't have to spend all the money on ridiculously expensive lights that do the same thing for $75. Yeah, Ernesto says, and that marketing number, like 2,500 peak watt, when are you going to have tops like that? No, I mean, the RMS is probably 1,200. This is marketing lying. I mean, it's the same thing as, we have a couple of generators, power generators. Like if we're out in the middle of nowhere, we have to run an LED wall, and we can run it off just one. The generator, has a number. We'll do up to this. But what they don't tell you is, you turn on your generator, it's going to jump up like 500 to 1,000 watts more when it starts up than when it's running. The running part is what you need. That's why when you're looking at these peak power versus like the RMS, you have to know the difference between the two, and you have to factor that in. So with power, all they're doing is allowing for energy spikes, because when you turn something on, anything, your car, your computer, your TV, the most power it will ever ask for at a given time is when you turn it on. That's when it requires all the power. After that, it stabilizes and then it runs lower. So a lot of times those initial things are just for startup. But yeah, you can't expect it to run that way the entire night and not blow. Don't sleep on Yamaha. Even their low tier DBR series is still fire. Not everyone is using them, so it'd be different. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't have a problem with Yamaha. Yamaha's old school. They've been around forever. They make quality product. So does that one that's I think they're either out of Canada or they're in the upper Midwest. Why am I yawning so much? I can't remember what it's called right now. But it's not Yamaha. Okay. Outlandish Ways says, do you think that bigger brands are watching what Exiton is doing, or do you think they really don't care? Well, we can take a look at the Apple Neo, if there's any indication. There have been Chromebooks around forever, and Apple Yorkville. Thank you, Tovi. Yes, Yorkville is the other one that sounds really good. But there have been Chromebooks out for generations, decades, and it took to now to Apple to make a lower end model. Yes, and it will be better than pretty much any Chromebook that's ever been made in the history of Chromebook. But the bottom line here is that they're starting to realize that gateways are important. gateways are important. If there, I think Phil Morris did a questionnaire about what software people use. And when I was up with Phil Tan doing the lecture, I actually asked everybody in there, hey, what DJ software do you use? Because I'm curious. And the majority of people use Rekordbox that I talked to. And I think even Phil's thing said Rekordbox too. But it's not because Rekordbox is better per se. It's not because anything. It's because when you get a device, whatever software is the default is typically the one you stay with. Like had I started up on when they had the digital boxes and Serato had the SL1. If Serato's SL1 was Rekordbox SL1, I'd probably be a Rekordbox fan right now. But, when it's the default software for the hardware, most people aren't thinking, well, I'm sure there's other DJ software out there that I can try that's probably better than this. Most people aren't thinking that. They're going to use what's in the box. So, hold on. Sorry. So in the box is the gateway. It's going to take more for people to leave whatever comes with it by default than to stay, and, as they always say in business, it's cheaper to keep the customers you have than to try to bring in new ones. Same thing. So if they get you in there with a $500 computer right off the bat, my daughter's going into high school next year, or I guess September, and she's going to be homeschooled. She's a dancer and wants to do all this stuff. So anyway, she's going to be homeschooled. She's going to need another computer. They may give her Chromebooks, but the Chromebook she has now is a piece of junk. Just held together. And I'm not paying for a warranty. I shouldn't have to stop. So I'd rather just buy her own computer, something that she's going to use all the time. And we are a Mac ecosystem in this house, so there won't be any issue with her trying to get everything done. My wife wants one also. She doesn't even have a computer. She just has an iPad Pro with a keyboard. Now she wants that computer. Gateway. It's always a gateway. And then they'll always stick with those things. Gateways are important. So to answer your question, to get back to your question, I think the companies care, but it's really hard. It's really hard to move a ocean liner around. Okay? And these large companies are ocean liners. They can't just be nimble, right? They have to slowly turn back around. So even if they do see the Exiton and go, oh my God, that could be a problem, it's going to take a while for them to come out with something else. And the question is, do they want to? Remember, these ocean liners, these big companies, they have profit margins they need to make. Some of these companies are, actually publicly traded. So they just can't do what they can do. They don't have Apple money where they're trillionaires. They don't have that. So they have to think about long and hard about what they do. Jay Davis says, example, RCF J9. I really think a speaker like the... Oh, why'd you remove it? Why'd you remove it? What you got to hide? Every time, because I always rewatch the videos because I go back and see if there's any comments that I'm like, oh, I should have talked about that, and I bring it back up on the next show. But anytime I see message retracted, anytime my brain goes, are you talking shit about me? Anytime, doesn't matter what it is. And then I'll click on it and it'll be something silly. Or they said like butthole and YouTube was like, you can't say butthole. Meanwhile, I'm saying, you know, all the dirty words on the planet, but you can't write that on a comment. Anyway. So it's going to take a minute. And the question is, do they want to? Because I know that a lot of these companies are worried that the moment they introduce something cheap, if it's quality, then people will just buy cheap. And maybe they don't buy the larger one, the more expensive one. Maybe that cheaper one is good enough. Jay Davis says, I think more people would have purchased the J9 if there was no Exiton 1503. Maybe. I think the J9 is a solid column array. I don't think it lives up to the hype that RCF people want to make it out to be. I was at their demo at NAMM, and I was the tops. They've tweaked their tops. It feels like a little bit because the tops sounded good. The subs sounded basic, and they know that they sound basic. How do I know that? Because the first thing out of their mouth when they started talking about the speaker was, and yeah, if you need a little more bass, you can just add another one of these to it. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, see, you know it's not good enough. You know it's not good enough. If you have to tell people before they've even bought a product, oh, but by the way, if you really want it to sound good, buy this product. It's not, then don't buy that product. Why not make a product where the bass level is adequate enough for the party or better for the party that you can turn down? Why don't we start with that? Again, and I'm not out to go after RCF because a lot of companies do this BS. You know, it's like, stop trying to get us to buy more shit. Make the system that we want and make it good enough to where I don't have to worry about it. If I wanted to have additional subs with my point source, then I'd be buying with my column array, then I'd be buying point source. But I want the speakers that I have out there just to sound good. Okay, let's talk about bass boss for 1 second. Okay. The new Sublime speakers, they're not for us. People are like, can you do a review of them? No, I can't. Why? First off, because they're big as hell. They're big. They're not even column arrays anymore. They're so big. They were at NAMM finally, or no, I think they were before NAMM. Where did I go before NAMM? No, I think they were at NAMM. And NAMM was the first place I saw them. And they're humongous. They're not for us. The fact that the dude, when they're putting it together, has to have like a damn dolly, like that's crazy. They're not for us. Like, I get it. Like, I was trying to get them, and they're like, yeah, we'll send them to you. And I saw them like, you don't have to send them to me. You don't have to send them to me. And yeah, I'm sure they're good, but I can't even put them up in some of my parties. They're so damn tall. So, and the amount of money they want for them, I know for a fact that those speakers are designed, they're for AV rental houses. They're for production houses. That's what they're selling them for today. Production houses. They're not for the everyday person. I don't believe that. Anyway, but to each their own. To each their own. Why is Cindy calling me? Am I meeting with her today? I hope not. May 1st. Okay. They are hideous and not for anything close to being good for this space. Those are more for concerts or festivals. I agree. They're not for us. They are not for us. They're beastly. I'm not gonna lie. Like they're aggressive, which is weird because they're just squares, but they're the most aggressive squares I've ever seen. Raymond says, no company is going to make the perfect speaker. If you buy them, you have no reason to buy anything else they make in the future. You see, I don't agree with that. And this is why I don't agree with that, because I think there are levels of parties, just period of parties. Okay. So what I mean by that, I mean that if I spend $9,000 or $8,000, let's say I bought the baseball Sublime. Okay. I wanted the best of the best. So I buy the Sublime. They will technically work on any party I throw at them, any and every party. But that's not realistic. That's not good money management. I want to recoup my costs faster than that. So yeah, it doesn't work. And I have to take a bigger vehicle. Now I need to have, I got restrictions on where I can put them. So all these little things are points to why people don't buy certain things. Okay. So now, but I'm just starting out. I buy the best speaker that I can afford, right? The best speaker that I can afford. I'm doing 30-person parties, 40, maybe 50. The best speakers I can afford. They might be the J9. Okay. So you buy them. Then, or there might be some Mackeys, or there might be the Exitons, and then you buy them. And then you start to get popular. And now you're doing 150-person parties. Maybe those speakers that I had are not good enough anymore. So I'm going to buy a larger set of speakers. I'm going to keep the old ones for my smaller parties. So there's, like I said, gateway. The gateway isn't just to keep you in it. The gateway is to have you spending more money. That's why I happen to have a MacBook 16 M4, a MacBook 14 M1, an iPad Pro 11, an iPhone, Apple TVs all around my house. These are all gateways. Every option is a gateway into getting into more stuff. And then I get to a point where I can't leave. I can't leave. There's no way I can leave. I mean, I could, but, and deal with all the drama? No, I'm good. Coyote says column arrays are not for them. I get it. I respect it. But sometimes I just need a smaller setup that sounds good. That's all. A smaller setup that's going to sound good. So I'm not opposed to the Exiton. I personally, at least in that iteration, I mean, we'll test them out in the 1803s, and we'll see if those are better. But at least in this iteration, I personally would not use the highs on there, personally. And again, but I have lots of different hardware. You know? I mean, column arrays, as I Am Preacher Man says, column arrays are so easy. I can be up and running with the column array and my System 1 in literally like 4 minutes. It's going to take longer to set up the Pro X stand, but if it's in my furniture, I mean, it takes, potentially 2 minutes to get my furniture up. Maybe 3. You got to take out the cases, they're heavy. We'll give it 5. Preacher Man, we'll go with 5. Because it's like 3 minutes to get my case up, another minute to run XLRs and power, another minute. And with the System 1, I'm already up. Like the top, it's literally bam, bam, bam. Maybe 3 pieces on each side. And I got the cords that do both XLR and PowerCon. So it's easy. Pablo Miami in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. It's absolutely going to take longer to tape the cable, Keith. Absolutely. So to each their own. DJ Showcase says, I used to be a big advocate for column arrays, but I'm going back to point source, 10 tops and 15 subs. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. To be clear, there's nothing wrong with going that route. And if you have the 10-inch tops and the 15-inch sub, I mean, theoretically, that's going to nail, depending, and I don't even know your business, but, my guess is at least 60 to 75% of your business, unless you're going super large parties and maybe you got to increase the subs a little bit. But I get it. I completely understand. But I can't. I'm just thinking about setup right now. I'm thinking about having to run sub, XLR to sub, XLR to the high. I got to run a power for both of them. I have to have an extension to wrap that, and that's to be long enough to run over to there. I got to put the pole up. I got to now lift up heavy ass tops potentially. 10-inch tops won't be heavy though, so you should be good. Yeah. Every so often I think about going. I think about going with like the RCF 12-inch speakers, 12-inch sub and 10-inch top, or the same thing with the QSC. That 12-inch QSC sub is pretty impressive, with their 10s. I thought about that. I'm like, that'll fit in my truck nicely. That's not a big deal. I've thought about it several times. But I don't know. I like them both. Iron Preacher Man says, in my real job, I'm going to eat this and then I'm going to put you on break. I have 5 hammers. Each has its own particular use. Exactly. I mean, there's a difference between scissors for 5-year-olds, scissors for adults, scissors to cut through meat, scissors to cut through cloth, shears to cut through trees. Those are all still just scissors, but it's the right scissor for the right job. Anyway. Okay. I didn't mean to eat, but I'm starving and I am getting off at 1:00 today. Okay. Oh, so somebody had asked. They said, do you go through a mixer or do you go through, or you go direct? I do both. When I'm doing, right, never eat a bar and talk right afterwards. Got to get this chair fixed. When I'm doing the walls, I have everything run to me. Everything, the production, sound, the video, all of it, all the audio runs through me. And I adjust it accordingly. I will say it does sound better when you go through a mixer, especially when you have inherent things like the EVs run a little hot in my mind. So scissoring with Terry is wild. The EVs run a little hot. So I just take off a little of that top end. Don't have to do anything with the subs. And then they end up sounding fantastic. But I do go direct also. So if it's my party and it's just me, I'm setting up, I typically go direct. I don't require a mixer. These sound cards that are coming out of this new gear is all good enough where you don't need a mixer. The microphone ports on them are good enough. Although I will say, this weekend The microphone, I didn't love going out of the rain. I have to check to see if it's the rain, if it was just the speakers. I was getting unnecessary feedback, and I'm like, I'm using a System 1. Why am I getting feedback at all? Anyway, and the EVs. The room was definitely acoustically challenging. It was bouncing back on us, so I'm thinking that had more to do with it than anything. But I typically go direct. Because again, if I'm spending $2,000, $2,500, I should never require extra gear in order to get the job done. Never, in my opinion, unless it's being sold as an accessory. That's it. Karaoke needs a mixer, period. It needs an external mixer. I don't think you can do karaoke without having an external mixer. That's just the way I do it. Yep. I'm not spending all this money for them to tell me, oh, but by the way, you need to buy this. That's like me buying an RCF speaker and they're like, okay, yeah, so maybe you should buy a sub with it. You see how dumb that sounds? You see how dumb that just sounded just right there? This is my perfect example. I shouldn't have to buy anything else. Anyway, but the most important part of mixers is not the sound. I mean, it is a sound, but the most important part is the safety. It's having something as a backup, because I've had sound go. I had sound go out once where one of the ports, because we were running a wall, one of the outlets blew, so it took down like half. Like 2 panels, and like I guess they had plugged speakers in stupidly into the same thing, so it blew. But I had my computer running the wall stuff, and I just literally opened up DJ. Why would you open up DJ instead of blah blah? Because DJ is faster. I run everything through DJ now. Like if I'm sitting at my desk, this is no lie, okay? Everything I'm saying is the truth. When I'm at my desk, I open up DJ to play Apple Music. Did you hear me? Did you hear what I just said? I open up DJ to play Apple Music. That's how much they have me. Minus the crate search, which they absolutely need to do. They need to. I'm surprised and not surprised that they don't have System 1 up. Like if Virtual DJ hasn't released a System 1 update yet, then I'm not surprised, because Virtual DJ is gangster. They're like, hey, this is exclusive to Serato for 6 months. Virtual DJ is like, I don't care. You can't delete Serato if that's the only one that works for System 1. So it is what it is. Okay. I know people like to make fun of me, like, he's not getting off. He's going to stay on. I am absolutely going to get off. Pablo, if you're in here, don't you say a word. But it is 1 o'clock. I have a 1:15. I need to eat something else and finish up on my... Oh, no. I have chocolate on my white shirt. Guess I'll be changing this shirt today. I'm going to eat because I do have a 1:15. And I will be back next Thursday. This weekend. Where am I at this weekend? I'm doing those corporate events in the Sweet 16. I will be... My guy's chatting with me. Gotta go. So, but I'll be back on Thursday. We'll talk a little bit about all the things that we did. Hopefully by that time, there will at least be, I'm setting myself up to do one new video and the stream every week. So that's 2 pieces of content for me every week. So I actually already have the Chauvet one done. I just have to edit, which is easy, and get it out to you. But I'm thinking about doing that just once a week. I could do more, but I feel like the algorithm right now is not ready for it. So I'll stick it to the twice and go from there. I just want to have content coming out all the time, and I don't need to rush. Believe it when I see it. And I don't need to rush just having content like, oh, here's 5 pieces of content. The algorithm won't pick them up. So I got to keep it to a certain number. Or I'll put a video on, people will be like, hey, where's that video you just did? I did that thing 6 months ago. I never saw it. Algorithm. So it'll go out. But besides that, before I start sweating too much, and I got to say, I'm very sad about this. This is a very comfortable shirt today. I will see everybody next week. So have great parties. Watch the video that I just posted. Very important. So we can push that algorithm up, because the more we push that algorithm up, the more they don't care when I post more content. Okay. So watch the video, share the video, and we'll go from there. So you can talk shit about the video. I don't care. Do whatever you got to do. You know, just don't get in there and start talking shit about bro, to do a scientific kick rocks. When has this ever been scientific? How in the world can you even get scientific while you are probably watching this shit from your phone or your TV? None of this stuff's going to give you a perfect indication of what it sounds like. But it's the same thing as a scale, okay? Everybody wants to talk shit. I go to the gym and, I do all the work on. People are like, that scale's not accurate. It's off by 2 pounds. This is the scale I use. It doesn't matter that it's off by 2 pounds. You guys just enjoy what I'm saying. You remind me of this stuff, then I'm going to just stop. Enjoy. The whole point of the scale is to see your trend. So it doesn't matter if it's 2 pounds off compared to your other scale. If you're losing the weight or adding the weight or whatever, then it's the same. You're just looking at trends. Doesn't matter. Anyway. Enjoy your day, peeps. Have great parties this weekend. Try to stay cool for the people that are out here or on the other side, and try to stay warm for the people that are in that blizzard, which is insane. So I will see you guys next week, same time. Peace out. Enjoy your time. And hopefully this shit works. Let's see.